Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net, and thanks again for watching. And as it's Saturday, this is our Saturday Look Ahead Roundup. And if it's your first time at weatherweb.net, welcome along. You can become a premium member, meaning that you get full access to all of our videos throughout the week, updated daily with the fast forecast, the look ahead. We've got our 2-week planners giving you the detail for the next couple of weeks, and our forecasts for the months and seasons ahead. And we're already talking about what winter 2016-2017 might hold. Now, you can get a free 3-day trial to weatherweb.net. Just go to Premium Member, click on to Join Now, and that will bring you up the relevant page. If you join by PayPal, then you'll get a free 3-day trial, and then it costs you less than 40p a day. Or if you join up using our 6-month premium membership option with direct debit, you'll get a discount over that 6-month period. So if you're not a member yet, then why not? Come on, get on board. And if you are a WeatherWeb Premium member, it's nice to have you back. Okay, starting off first of all with the sun, and the big sunspot just coming around onto the disk of the sun at the moment. Predictions looking like this in terms of sunspot numbers. Of course, we're in cycle 24 right now. The red line here is the monthly smooth totals, and you notice here how we've peaked in cycle 24. We're now slipping away, and the predictions are that we'll continue to fall off through the rest of the year. In fact, one of those predictions bringing us virtually down to a totally quiet sun, the sun almost going to sleep into the early stages of 2017. Of course, that does have an impact on our climate. I think we can say there's really no doubt about it. It's just confusion as to exactly how serious the impact is, but certainly the impact is there. In terms of sea surface temperature anomalies this week, still a cold Atlantic. That really is in control of our weather right at the moment, because anything that comes in from the west, anything that comes in from the southwest, is coming in across a fairly cool sea. Interesting to note, the North Sea has picked up temperatures in the last week, and also the central and eastern Mediterranean is starting to get warmer, and we're starting to see just a push of slightly milder air northwards in the Atlantic Ocean. Here's the remnants of El Nino, that falling away again. And also we're starting to see some warmer than normal water now getting onto the western coast of the Pacific, but still this cold blob in the northern Pacific. Indian Ocean remains in mild conditions, and I've got some really interesting data on the Indian Ocean for you in regards to how that then relates to summer weather back here in Europe, and I'm going to be showing you that over the next couple of days, that exclusive to WeatherWeb Premium members. But it really is some fascinating stuff, and how it then has a knock-on effect into autumn and into winter. So I'm just finalising the details on that, but I've got that coming up for you. Now, in terms of El Nino, we've been falling away since we reached our peak. These are the last 52 weeks. We've got the weeks marked across the bottom here. There's our peak that we saw in El Nino towards the end of last year, and you notice how it's been falling away ever since. We saw this sharp fall in February and March, but last week it actually levelled off, went back to a plus 1.6. So actually briefly last week we did see slowing of El Nino going into La Nina, and in fact, talking about it going into La Nina, the CFS has applied or they've applied a correction to the CFS model, and it's now decided that instead of going for a weak El Nino, which it was previously something like that, it's now going headlong into La Nina and bringing us down into a strong La Nina, minus 1.5 by the end of this year. And you notice there that many of the members of the ensemble really pointing downwards into that La Nina. We're still going with a La Nina idea of about minus 0.8. Again, that has an impact on the climate around the globe. Still got lots of warmth to get out of the atmosphere, though, from the strong El Nino that we had last year, but that cooling is certainly going to be showing an effect. Now, as far as February was concerned, these are the numbers coming out of NCEP right now, and over land, ocean, and a combination of both, it was the first in the sequence of 137 years, which put it at the warmest of those 137 years. It did that globally. It did it on a northern hemispheric basis, and it did it in the southern hemisphere as well. So in all three data sets, February 2016 showed as being the warmest. And in fact, for winter, the data is now available running from December through February. Globally, it was the first warmest, northern hemispheric, the first warmest, and southern hemispheric. Over the land, the ocean, and a combination of both. So confirmation of that very warm air that we saw around the globe during the winter months and through February singularly. And out of 137 years, that ranks it as the warmest right across the globe in all the various different measures. Now, as far as April goes, to date, this from Carsten Houston's site, coming up to the 9th of April, we've been seeing global temperatures about 0.7 degrees above the anomaly for April. You can see here where the coolest of the air has been across parts of Canada, across parts of the eastern states. Warmer too across the UK, across central and eastern parts of Europe, and running into Asia as well. And also warmer through China, warmer across northern parts of Australia, warmer too across central parts of South America and across the north of Africa. Now, for the next 7 days, this is the prediction, bringing us milder than average conditions, just clipping the UK for the next 7 days, extending down to Africa, across India, across into western parts of Asia, across Russia as well. Those warmer conditions, warmer than average conditions prevail. But just notice the cooler air getting into China now. If we just compare back, that's the month to date. Watch China. There we are for this week. So you see the cooler air coming in. There we are again with the month to date. Keep your eye on the eastern parts of the states here, because next week cooler air just digs its way south even more across the states. So some cooler air getting in there. In terms of precipitation for the last 30 days, this is what we've seen in terms of the anomalies. Some wet weather central southern parts of the states, also across southeastern parts of China, being drier across central eastern parts of Europe, but across Western Europe slightly wetter than average conditions. CO2 continues to rise. This is the 5-year running, the annual running mean in the black line here, and you can see how that continues to rise. No, it's not the annual mean, it's the running 5-year monthly mean. You can see how that continues to rise. In terms of sea ice, the Arctic is still well below in record numbers in terms of the sea ice extent. This is the area with at least 15% of the sea covered in ice, and you can see there it's well below the 1981 to 2010 average, which is the grey line here. So we are seeing continued much lower than average Arctic sea ice. And as far as the comparison with previous years, it's this red line here is 2016, and you see how much lower it has been compared to the last 14 years. Down in the Antarctic, this is how, sorry, not in the Antarctic, this is Arctic temperatures for the last year so far from the start of the year. And you notice how we've seen this average temperature holding above the mean, which is the green line here. So we've seen quite a smooth start to the year, but one that has been much, much milder than average. Down in the Antarctic, we're looking at totals of sea ice nearer to the average. It's risen a bit though, risen recently, so we're now seeing above average totals of sea ice once again down in the Antarctic. And when compared to recent years, we're seeing our totals getting in at around about normal levels. The 2016 totals stuck in the middle there. Now, as far as the coming week goes, this is the how the CFS sees things for the coming few weeks. This is week 1, and it's showing us quite nicely the trough down towards the southwest of the UK, that pumping rain bands and some slightly milder air further north. Notice though the ridge here towards the north, with those far above normal heights. Into week 2, going from the 16th to the 22nd of April, lower than normal heights west, lower than normal heights towards the east as well. They're feeding in the jet towards the north, something like this. We've got a flow coming in at the surface, something like so, and that maintains the cooler, more unsettled conditions. Now, you'll know, those of you WeatherWeb Premium members, we've been talking about the improvement during the second half of April. Stressed all along this was not going to be a big area of high pressure smack over the top of us, but it would be an improvement compared to the unsettled start to the month. CFS wants to hint at it moderately. It just builds in these heights out towards the west, which gives us a ridge something like that during the week of the 23rd until the 29th. So it is seeing some dry weather getting in, particularly in the western and southern areas, but staying wetter and cooler towards the north. And then for week 4, transitions back into low than normal heights down towards the south, higher than normal heights up towards the north, brings us more into an east-southeasterly flow, tries to get some more rainfall going across southern and southwestern parts of the UK, keeps the north drier overall. And that would probably start to drag in some milder air, because we've got this high in the heights off towards the east. So that's now starting to drag in some milder air off central parts of Europe. And of course, as we saw, Europe has been above normal for the time of year in those central and eastern areas recently, and indeed for this week as well. So if we start to get air coming in from there, the land having warmed up, actually it probably won't be feeling too chilly. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that for now, but don't forget, if you're not a WeatherWeb Premium member, then all you need to do is go to weatherweb.net, click on Premium Member, and you'll be able to sign up at that link. You can sign up for a free 3-day trial through PayPal, or you can get a 6-month direct debit subscription, and that will give you a discount. Also, as well as the videos every single day, you're going to get our musings shown here, and also our weather school guides, full and unlimited access to those. Okay, I'll leave you with that for now, but whatever you're doing, thanks again for watching. Have a great day, keep the sun shining, and bye for now.